What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrological forecast for May 25th of 2023. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it. Well, we do have the sun in Gemini at 3 degrees, but it will hit 4 degrees pretty early on in the day. I have this set to 6:30 a.m., of course, in my time here on the East Coast of the United States. And we do have the moon in Leo coming off of that grand fixed cross that we experienced yesterday. Did you feel a pop yesterday when the moon came over Mars? It actually came around Mars, I think around like 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern time. And I actually definitely felt that energy. I really did. So we had like a pretty big presentation at my store. So I definitely felt the energy rev up and stuff. It was pretty interesting. So, but like I said, the moon will be in Leo for a good for the whole of the day. Coming off of that energy, but it's not done squaring, guys. It's not done squaring. Nope, the moon's going to be squaring over to Mercury today, which is also going to be at 9 degrees. So we're going to pretty much begin the day with this squaring energy. At least if you're on the East Coast, 6:30 is pretty early in the morning. But a lot of people, that's when they start waking up around that time. So we begin the day with that squaring energy. Of course, Mercury moving just over a half degree a day. It's around 40 or so minutes a day that it's moving. So it's still moving slow. It's going to be in its shadow until it hits 15 degrees. So the moon squaring Mercury today, we definitely are wanting to express ourselves, express our hearts, express our passions. But we don't have all the information, right? I even said it yesterday in yesterday's horoscope. There's because based off of what I drew the Hermit card in reverse. There's this element where we want to have more information, we want more and more, and there's an element of patience. I feel with this astrology, with all this Taurus energy that we have, there's an element of patience. There's an element of us wanting to get things done and move things forward, but because we don't have all the details, because we don't have all the facts, because we don't necessarily have all of the pieces that our ego wants us to have, right? Because we don't have all those pieces, we can start overthinking things. We can start putting ourselves into like these weird mental binds, if you will. I'm hearing Eight of Swords kind of energy, but it's like Eight of Swords reverse. So it's like we can really trap ourselves mentally if we're not careful because we think that it has to look a certain way. And because it's like, we need this information, we need this, and we need that, and we need this. You already have all the tools. Like you've already been given everything. You really have been. And it's just about taking that to the next level. That's really what it's about. All of the information that you need is already there. Like if you think about just like a seed, right? All of the information for that tiny seed to become the giant tree is already within that seed. And it's honestly a miracle how that seed goes from something that's so tiny to something that's so magnanimous and then produces fruit and produces all this life and energy. But all of that information is within that seed. That is really, in many ways, what the universe is teaching us right now. It's wanting to teach us. It's like, hey, each and every one of us is this little seed, this nugget of information and DNA and energy and celestial miasma and all that good stuff, right? And we can get certainly caught up thinking that it has to look a certain way, right? The moon here in Leo, like I said, it's going to be squaring the energy and it's going to be building up to that square to Uranus, right? Of course, coming off of that grand cross energy with all that fixed energy, we are still in fixed city, right? We still have the sun here at 3 degrees, and it's going to be making that semi-sextile over to the north node. It's starting off with that, and then it's still in it's still in that king-kunxing energy over to the south node. I always call the king-kunx, that 150-degree angle. I call that the awkward stare from across the room. So like think of like the thing I'm seeing in my head is like you're sitting in a classroom and there's this person in the classroom and y'all make eye contact, and that's the Scorpio energy. That's the eye contact, and they give you like this sort of like, hey, oh, what's up? And you can feel that something is just off about it, especially with South Node and Scorpio. This is kind of like that bad boy kind of energy too, where you really shouldn't be talking to that person, but you think it's exciting, you think it's going to provide the edge in life that you really want, when really the person that you need to be talking to is right next to you, right? It's right next to you, but we're looking across the room and it's a bit awkward too, and it may pique your interest and stuff like that, but beloved, please don't fall for it. As I'm a Scorpio too. Look, I definitely look for edge in my life and stuff like that, right? But don't fall for it. We could fall for desires right now if we're not careful, and especially with the Sun in Gemini, it wants to be curious. It wants to go out and explore. It wants to meet people too. But really, what we really need to be paying attention to is not all of that edge that's across the room. We need to be paying attention to what's right next to us, paying attention to Jupiter, what we can expand and inflate and build, what values we can build. The North Node, really going in that direction, heading in that direction, that North Star kind of energy. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Mercury and Taurus, yes, it's still moving slow. It's not moving super fast, but communicating this. Great time to really start a gratitude journal right now. Great time to really start to like write out what it is that you want in your life, you know, actually writing it out. Then, of course, you have Uranus and Taurus, which will actually connect you with the people that reflect your values. And if you surround yourself more with these kind of people, more and more and more, then you have no choice but to match that vibration. But sometimes that's what happens. We always feel like it's what we want. We always feel like our like it's always way out there, right? The desires, whatever like that. At least right now with this energy with the Sun and Gemini, right? And where the nodes are where they are, we always feel like it's way out there. It's way out there. That's where the journey is. That's where my purpose is. That's where it is. That is where the money's gonna be. That's where the relationship's gonna be. That's where everything in my life is going to change forever. It's way out there. No, it's right next to you. You probably don't realize it, right? It is right next to you. We have, of course, Venus, 18 degrees of Cancer, making that square over to Chiron, right? Venus, yeah, likes to be in Cancer, but I mean, Venus, it's still, I mean, shoot, it's out of bounds for sure. So the energy of Venus is a little, it's a bit out there, right? You know what I mean? It's like Venus it keeps, it's offsides. I'm gonna start saying that it's offsides. So like Venus, being in Cancer, we have to feel good, right? We have to really have be like feel good, and it's like, oh, like if I don't feel good, I can't do this, right? And it's like constantly wanting to like go off sides. And when I'm saying off sides, I'm thinking like it could be I'm seeing soccer in my head, and that's kind of how it feels. It feels frustrating. Now, offsides in different sports, can mean different things. But for me, the most frustrating offside is going to be in soccer. I mean, you can jump offsides in like football and whatever like that, and you have like the penalty, but you can jump offside in soccer and you can get like this giant emotional response because you might have gotten a goal if you weren't offside. But if you're just like a half second, maybe if you just waited a half more second, then you wouldn't have been offside and you might have actually scored the goal. I've watched many soccer games or football. I've watched many games where someone was just off by just a slight bit. And because of them being in front of the defender and the ball got passed to them, and they might have had an open shot to the goal, right? They might have had an open shot to the goal, but it was just offside. And then think about it. Everyone gets excited, the crowd gets excited, and then that dreaded yellow flag comes up. And then all of the energy goes like that's this kind of energy right now. So it's like there's an element of patience and timing that comes with this, guys. There's an element of patience and timing. We want things to feel good, right? Mars is wanting to move things forward, but it is still in this great T square with Jupiter and the nodes, and there's still Pluto here, even though it's at 2 degrees, it's still within like a nice 3-degree orb and stuff. So there's still this element of there's challenges here, right? We definitely want to move things forward. We definitely want to score those goals, but the timing could just be a little bit off. It's like I've watched so many like soccer games where it's like there'll be like 3 or 4 or 5 offsides before the striker or the forward finally actually gets it to where they're not offside. Or you have like those players that are just they're super angsty, like they're ready to go, and that's awesome. It's great that they show the passion that they want to get the goal, that they want to get in behind the defender, but you have to time it perfectly. Otherwise, that freaking yellow flag's gonna come off and then the play is dead. It's canceled, and you have to move on. That's what's happening in a lot of our lives right now. Everyone, in a sense, it's like we're ready to jump the gun, and that yellow flag's coming up, and we're like, nah. The universe is like, nah, hold on. Wait, we got to recalibrate a little bit. There's a little bit of recalibration here. Except now, if you move this forward with the moon, as you can see, it's going to hit 10 degrees. Once you hit midday, it's going to be about 12 degrees. So it's going to be coming off, it's coming off of that square to Mercury. It's going to loosen up a little bit. But, as the day progresses, by the time you hit the evening, by the time you hit around 8:30, it's going to be at 16 degrees, right? So then it's going to be coming into that trine with Chiron, which is a nice aspect. Trines are good, but with Chiron, it is sort of like this awkward kind of hunchback of Notre Dame kind of energy, if you will. It is a key though. That's the cool thing about Chiron, that it is a key. And while we call Chiron the wounded healer, oftentimes it's going to be in some of our greatest challenges that we find this key, and that it can really unlock many doors in our life. So with the moon, now as it's like kind of coming off of a lot of the squaring energy to Taurus, it's going to probably loosen up by the end of the day. You'll start to feel a little bit better as far as that goes. The beginning of the day might be a little bit more intense because you're going to be wanting to jump the gun and stuff. So, if the day starts off kind of weird, kind of wonky, kind of challenging, just know that that's just how it is right now. That right now the universe is asking us to, hey, it's great that you want to move things forward. It's great that you have this renewed sense of self-worth and value. It's great that you're wanting to do something different, but we still have to recalibrate some things, right? Like I said, Mercury is still in shadow. So when it comes to some of that energy, there are some things that we really still have to go back and clean up. Whenever a planet is in shadow or it's in a retrograde, it's like we're cleaning up some of these energies. And especially with it being in Taurus, Taurus, when you think of like Taurian energy, you think of like blooms and flowers and all these sort of things. Like, so in many ways, we're still in this spring cleaning kind of energy, right? I know that Memorial Day is around the corner, and everyone's like, Memorial Day is when summer starts, even though technically it's not until Cancer season, but most people aren't really aware of that. Summer begins right when school lets out and around Memorial Day, but we still have this last month of spring technically, and we still have all this Taurus energy. So there's definitely still going to be this element of spring cleaning. And like I said, with this moon here, it's going to be at 16 degrees, come towards the evening and stuff like that. We're going to start to feel a little bit better as far as that stuff goes. It's going to move into that second decan, which is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter at that point will be at 2 degrees. I think actually it moves to 2 degrees pretty much. Yeah. So I think it starts the day, if we take it back to 6:30, which was sunrise. Yeah. So 1 degree, 57 minutes. So yeah, by the time it hits 8:30 at night, it will be at that second degree point. So it's moving. It's starting to move, I think it actually is moving decently fast as well. So if I share a different screen, I can show you. See, oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to just keep it right here. Yeah. So Jupiter, yeah, it's moving fast for, it's moving about what? It's like 13 minutes a day or so. But as you can see, Mercury still moving kind of slow. still less than a degree a day, right? So, like I said, we're not really going to have all the information. We're not going to have all of the knowledge and stuff like that. That can frustrate some people too. But don't let it frustrate you. Just know that you already have all of the tools that you need to really move your life forward in a very positive way. It's not going to come without its challenges because, I mean, that's really how things evolve. It's funny. I saw a video the other day of a caterpillar, right? It's the caterpillar that turns into the monarch butterfly, right? And I saw like a time lapse video. Someone actually caught it at the perfect time of the caterpillar actually going into the chrysalis and stuff, and they did like a time lapse video of it. And this person actually caught the whole process, and then it turned into the butterfly. That's kind of where we are right now. It's interesting though too. It's like we are in the chrysalis stage, but we're having dreams of flying, right? That's kind of where we are right now. We're not really the caterpillar right now because the caterpillar is just like mom, 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 like consume, consume, consume. We're not really the caterpillar right now, right? Now, if you feel like you are the caterpillar, that just means that you haven't recognized that you have all of the tools that you need to get to the next stage. You already have all the tools that you need to get to the next stage. But if you're just eating, 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 and fulfilling desire, 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 then that's probably why you're feeling some discord, is because you haven't realized that, okay, good. I'm satiated. Look at all the beautiful things around me. Let me sit here in my cocoon so I may get to the next stage. So many people are wanting to get to the next stage in life, but they keep consuming, they keep eating, they don't realize that they have what they need, that they don't realize that they already have it. It's already there. And then they wonder why the transformation is not coming. Like, well, you still have to go into the chrysalis stage. But everyone's like, oh, I don't want to just sit around and not do anything. It's not necessarily about, I'm not saying to just sit around and not do anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, this is the time to, like, really just, whatever it is that you've been working on, right? Hone in on it more. Fine tune it. This is in time to fine tune ourselves. Some of you are playing instruments and you haven't tuned them in like months, years maybe. And it probably will sound really good because your skills have probably gotten better at playing that instrument, but you still haven't tuned them. Because I don't care how good of a musician that you are. If you don't tune your instruments, it's not going to work. I don't care how great of a race car driver you are. If you don't have the right pit crew, you ain't doing nothing. If your tires are bald, you're going to be skidding all over the place. You can have all these skills, but we still need people, right? We still need people in certain areas that can help us get to that level. And the only way that we're going to find those people is if we really know who we are. That's why we have all this fixed energy right now. Because it's about knowing who you are, right? So let's go ahead and draw the card for today. Let's go ahead and draw this card. Said I'm using the Gilded Tarot. This is the first tarot deck I ever bought. And I'm like, if I'm going to get back into making these videos, might as well take it back to where everything first started. So, right. Yeah, we got the Six of Wands. And then a clarity card, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Six of Wands, when it initially came up, it was reverse. So, and then you had the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, so if we feel so, the Six of Wands is really about it. It's a position. It's a card where really we are wanting to hold our position in a way, it's kind of like the Seven of Wands in that aspect, but this is someone who's kind of like writing in. You know what I mean? He's writing in. He has the people kind of cheering, and there's a sort of a rival, but it is reverse. So, like I said, this ties in perfectly, honestly, with my whole soccer analogy. We want to score the goal, and we almost can like feel the crowd cheering, and we can kind of feel that energy coming. You know, we were wanting to really arrive. We're wanting to really arrive, but since it's reversed, the timing is a little bit off. The timing is a little bit off, but we have the Queen of Pentacles here reminding us to hold fast to our value and to really, it's coming from more of an inner space. It really is. I think this is definitely a time where we can go out and meet the right people and make things happen. But I don't think this is really necessarily a time, because this is reversed. It's telling me that this isn't necessarily about doing something like very, very new. This is something that you've been working on for a while, or some, maybe it's a project or a passion thing that you've picked up and dropped down and picked up and dropped down, but this is something that you've done before. This isn't like brand new ventures and stuff. These are things that you have done before, and maybe you had to put them down, and maybe you had to come back to them, kind of like me with doing these videos. I had to put it down, I picked it back up. I kind of want to draw another card too, because the energy is kind of interesting, so I want to get a little more clarity. I got the Lovers in reverse, actually. I got the Lovers in reverse. Yeah, definitely. And what I'm hearing mostly with this is like definitely just getting caught up in what looks super fantastic, right? Do not get caught up in what may look like a wonderful, romantic, fantastic adventure and romanticize this whole fantasy in your head about how this is going to go. Now, there's some hard work that's involved here, right? There's a peacock in here too. There's a peacock in here. I would say actually be wary of peacocking energies too, honestly, to kind of be aware of that energy, because it might look flashy, it might look cool, but you just never really know. You never really know. Um, I think really what I'm feeling here is that the true peacock energy, if you will, is actually an energy that's not as flashy, is not as edgy, but it actually is the most beautiful. But I think it's something that we have to really alter our perspective and see things in a different light. You have to see things in a different light. So that is what I have for you all on this forecast. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all got something out of it, So let me know what y'all think, and I'll be sure to obviously come back and see y'all on the next video. So making this one a little bit late. It's like it just hit midnight pretty much here. So I'm still in my work clothes too. So I didn't even take off when I got home. I got home a little later from work than usual. So anyways, that's going to do it for me. So I will see you all on the next video. Other than that, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a beautiful day. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.